Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my live stream today. How are you doing? Today we are finally doing that stream that we postponed yesterday. Our guest is here with us. As you're getting into the stream, let me know where you're watching me from. And like the stream as you're coming in, today we've been talking a lot about owning property, getting your African plan ready. And yeah, today we're going to have that conversation, steps to go about it. So as you're getting into the stream, first, let me know where you're watching me from. And I want to know whom do we have in the stream before we bring our guest on board. Our guest is backstage, but so let me share out the stream, like the stream, leave a comment. I want to know that you can hear me very clearly and where you are watching me from. I can see 11 people in the stream already. Let me know where you're watching me from. Let me know where you are watching me from. 14 people in the stream. Mary from South Carolina. How are you, Mary? Thank you so much for joining the live stream. I hope you are doing well. Let's just give it a minute to allow people to join so that we don't have to, because I know a lot of people are getting their notifications probably right now. So let's give it a minute to allow people to come in. I might be late for this. It's currently 2:15 PST. Okay, it's okay. Of course, you can always replay this stream much later. So I would love to know where you're watching me from. Let me know. Let's give it a minute because I know a lot of people are getting their notifications right now so that they can also join us before we start in the next 30 seconds. So today is that day that you'll be asking your questions about property, owning property, and in particular, we'll be doing this in Kenya. We have somebody who is experienced in that who will probably give you a step-by-step guide on how to go about it, because most often the people who sell, the property agents will always just tell you, oh, property this, or this goes for this amount, but nobody really tells you about the paperwork and like how to legally own it. So the step-by-step. So the volume is low. Is my volume low? Somebody says my volume is low. If you can hear me, let me know. Let me know if my volume is low. I don't think my volume is low. Could you try maybe increasing your volume? Okay, it opened. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, I hope you can really hear me. So I'm starting. Let's have our guest today. Let's have our guest. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, Mercy. How are you?
I'm good. If you could adjust your camera so that you can see you, we're just in the head a little bit. So if you can adjust
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's
Much
kind of,
better.
yeah, that's
Okay.
better.
Okay,
Yes.
thank
So
you.
maybe you can start by introducing yourself.
Okay. Well, I don't know how many people are in the stream.
I think we have 20 people in the stream right now, and that is the stream because I'm streaming to two places. I'm streaming to Facebook, and I'm as well streaming to YouTube, but I can only see the people whom we are having on YouTube. Right now we have 22 people on the stream.
Okay, thank you. Now,
Yeah.
my name is William.
Mm-hmm.
William Ward.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya
Yeah.
with 6 years practicing experience now.
Mm-hmm.
And I major mainly on property and land transactions. So I think this is a perfect kind of discussion to have with you people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in a nutshell, that's a
Okay, so a number of people are interested in acquiring property. Maybe we can start by saying the process locally. If I am a Kenyan, I'm in Kenya. What steps when I want to buy land or when I want to buy a house? Well, let's just start with land before we go to a house. What do I need to do to have or to own land legally?
Mm. Okay, ideally, actually, even a house and land,
Mm-hmm.
they are both just considered as being land. It's only that a house is now land that has been developed.
Mm-hmm.
The procedure is just the same. So the most important thing, of course, you'll get in contact with agents
Yeah.
who will help you introduce, who will just introduce the buyer and the seller.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, of course, and the negotiations for the price. But now the most important step when purchasing property, whether it's a foreigner or a Kenyan, is to first of all ascertain that the title to that property is actually legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what that entails, it involves conducting a searches at the lands office or the lands registries
Mm-hmm.
to ascertain that the person who is selling the property to you
Mm-hmm.
is actually the registered owner of that land. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that you can only ascertain by doing an official search at the relevant lands registries.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can only enter into a contract with the owner of the property. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, going ascertaining the legitimacy of the title does not just end at doing a search, because a search will only tell you the owner of the property. But then you also need to do what we call a survey. Hello,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yes, we can hear you.
there's always the possibility that, of course, the property exists in the records at the lands office,
Mm-hmm.
but then it doesn't exist on the ground, on the actual, the actual physical location of the property.
And what makes that possible that property can exist in the lands office and not in the physical?
Yes, normally what happens, because there are instances where people create fake titles, and these fake titles actually have records at the lands registry. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so you find instances where two people have different titles with records and showing ownership and everything. But when you
Mm-hmm.
conduct an actual physical survey of the property, you end up realizing that there are two titles, but they relate to one property. So you
Mm-hmm.
don't just conduct a search at the lands office. You do a search at the lands office and engage the services of a surveyor. Now, lawyers don't do the actual survey, but then there are surveyors who can actually go and ascertain the location of the property.
So what?
Another thing you may
Okay,
hello?
go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
just you can ask questions as we go as we move along, so that you don't leave anyone behind. If anyone has a question that they wish to ask,
Yeah.
they could ask so that we carry everyone along. So don't
Okay.
feel free to
Mm-hmm. So I see we've
feel
had
free
more
to
people coming in the stream. Kindly like the stream as you are coming in. Like the stream as you're coming in. If you have any question, this is your time to really ask those questions that you've been having. Articles, Mr. Dakas, Bad Boy, Mart, Jamal, I see you all. Kindly like the stream. If you have any question, go ahead and ask it. He will be able to answer it as we're going on with the stream. So you say lawyers are not the ones who do the survey, it's the surveyors
yeah,
who do it.
yes, as well. In the process of purchasing property, you'll find that you'll involve other professionals as well. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because even lawyers, we have these people we work with. Of course, we can't claim to be able to do the survey work, because the surveyors were trained to specifically do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's also good to have a second opinion from a different professional, because as a lawyer, we will only be concerned with the searches at the lands registry, yeah? The ownership, because that only gives you the ownership. But now the actual physical survey has to
Mm-hmm.
be done by a surveyor will ascertain the physical location of the property. And it's not just about ascertaining the physical location of the property, it's also about confirming that the size of that land is as it appears on the title. Because there are cases where someone will tell you they're selling you 6 acres, the title indicates 6 acres, but then when you go on the actual physical location of the property, you find that the acreage is not as indicated in the title. After conducting the searches, these are what we call the preliminary stages, ascertaining what we call the sanctity of the title. Now, after conducting the searches, another thing you may want to know, like you are aware of the recent problems where there are properties that are located along riparian land, that is near river sources. Yeah, the ones near rivers and streams and everything. You saw the demolitions that were happening in Kenya.
So
Hello?
yes, we can
So
hear you.
another thing you will want to ascertain with the Water Management Resources Authority, Water Resources
What?
Management Authority, WARMA, and to confirm that property either does not lie on riparian land or is not in a place, because they have to be 10 meters away from the water bodies. Yeah. Hello?
Yes, we can hear
Hello.
you.
Yeah. So you have to confirm that whatever you actually want to buy is not
Riparian land.
situated on a water. Because if you construct on it, the property will end up being demolished. Now, the other thing you may want to confirm, and since we are now dealing with the foreigners, the other thing they would want to ascertain if they want to buy property in Kenya is that under the Kenyan Constitution, the one that was passed in 2010, because there are two regimes of titles in Kenya. There is freehold land, and there's leasehold land.
Yeah.
Now, leasehold property is where the government gives you a term, let's say for 99 years or 50 years. Then upon lapse of that term, you will apply for an extension. So you don't own the land absolutely. Now, those kinds of property can be bought by foreigners, the leasehold land. However, the freehold land, where you own the land absolutely, it's not a term. It's not a term from the government. You own it. You own the property absolutely. Foreigners cannot purchase property that is a freehold in Kenya. Now, and foreigners are also classified, even if they incorporate a company, then a company will only be considered to be fully Kenyan if the entire shareholding in the company is by Kenyans, the Kenyan nationals.
So
So
let's
if it's
get, yeah. You say if they are buying land as a company, in order for them to be able to purchase freehold property,
yes,
all the shareholders of the company must be Kenyan.
yes, the entire shareholding of the company must be Kenyan, by Kenyan nationals, so that a company is only considered a Kenyan company if the entire shareholding is Kenyan. So if if it has 1,000 shares, and 999 are held by Kenyans and only one share is held by a foreigner, they also can't purchase freehold land.
Wow. Okay,
So
there's something, before we proceed, there's something you mentioned. I would want a clarification. You mentioned about the WARMA getting a permit from, getting the land checked by the WARMA, that is the Water Resources Authority, Management Authority. Is there a document that they give you to show that the land is not? Because sometimes they can give you, like, is there a document that they give you to confirm that indeed the land is not on, or is it just something that you
it's not really a document, but what you'll do is it will just take a form of an inquiry to them, just a letter to them. then a formal letter from them, because in your letter to them, you'll be asking them to confirm that the property does not encroach on any water resource, and they give that confirmation. So a formal letter from them is sufficient, confirming that the property indeed does not encroach on a water resource or a water body. Yeah, so a formal letter from them suffices.
Okay. I can see your questions. Keep them coming. I will ask you, but let me just ask him a number of questions before we can get to your questions. You said a foreigner cannot own freehold property. What if this foreigner with time becomes a citizen? Can the property change from being on lease to freehold?
Being on?
So let's say somebody is a foreigner, has been staying in Kenya for, I think it takes 7 years in order to be granted citizenship, right? So once they've been granted the citizenship, can the property change from being on lease to freehold?
No. It normally happens the other way. It can only change from being a freehold to a leasehold, and there are circumstances that necessitate that.
What
Like
are those
say,
circumstances?
hello?
What are those circumstances?
Yeah, those circumstances are, you see, like when you are freehold land, normally, most of it is normally agricultural land, yeah? Because in Kenya, there's use for different kinds of property, different kinds of land. You can use what's called the user for the property. You can either use it for commercial purposes, industrial, agricultural, or single dwelling, or multi-dwelling. So when you want to change the use from one to another, assuming you had a property that was freehold, and it was meant for a single dwelling. And for a single dwelling is you're only allowed to construct one residential unit. That's just an example. But suppose you now want to go and maybe construct apartments for sale, then it means you'll have to change the use for the property from single dwelling to multi-dwelling. Now, suppose the property was freehold and you change it from single to multi-dwelling, you cannot now get your freehold time, because what you'll need to do is you'll have to produce another title with that user.
So
Because you now want to use it for something that was not, because you now want to use it for something that wasn't intended for it. So when you change the user, hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so when you change it, you'll get a new title, but now you'll not be given a freehold term. You'll be given a term of 99 years. So it can change from freehold to leasehold, but it cannot change from leasehold to a freehold title. But the only thing that will be happening, even with a leasehold title, hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Just go ahead.
Despite the fact that the government retains the right to extend the term and everything, it is not. It doesn't happen that you can lose your title, yeah. Because the Kenyan law anticipates a situation where if you have a leasehold title, then for the term to be extended, the current owner of the property is given the first right of refusal, so that the government is actually under obligation to inform you to apply for a renewal when the term when there's 5 years remaining on the term you had, yeah. So the government is actually under obligation to give you the first right of refusal and the first right to extend the term of the lease. So you are still protected, even as a foreigner. You're still protected. Anyone is still protected.
Okay. So approximately. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let me just clarify something. But despite the fact that the Kenyan law is of the position that a foreigner cannot hold freehold title, the Kenyan law anticipates a situation where there could be transfer to a foreigner by a mistake or corruption or something. Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah, there could be instances where a foreigner gets to have a freehold title transferred to them, either by as a result of an oversight from somebody or the land office, or maybe they collude with somebody to have freehold title transferred to them. The law anticipates a situation where if such a thing happens, then the constitution is to protect that where a transfer is done of a freehold land is done to a foreigner, whether by mistake or anything, it will be taken that the only term the foreigner can get is a leasehold term of 99 years. Now, the effective date will be the date of promulgation of the new constitution. So it's 99 years from the 10th of August.
2009 or 10.
Yeah, 2010, of August 2010.
Yeah.
So even if they get to buy freehold title, the title won't be taken away from them, but it will be automatically taken that they have a 99-year-old term from the date of promulgation of the constitution. So they are still covered in a way.
Okay, so before I get to the questions, in summary, you see the first thing is to do a search, second
Yeah.
a survey,
Yes.
then the third, you need to go to the water authority, water WADMA, to check if the
Yeah.
land is riparian land. So what's the next step?
You need to confirm the land tenure. That's why we're talking about the freehold and the leaseholders. Then you
Confirm
need to do your due diligence should not just stop there. You even need to go to Kenya, the roads and the
Kenya
highways.
National Highway Authority, yeah.
Yeah, to confirm that the property is not on land earmarked as a road reserve. Yes. So once you do all those things, should we go to the questions now, or we go to the next segment? We could just proceed
No,
to the
just
process.
proceed, and then the questions will come. So,
Okay.
because we've had it step by step, so let's finish before I can ask the question. I can see a number of questions I'll be asking. Keep bringing those questions on. Ask the question, like the stream, and I hope you can hear us clearly. Like the stream, support the stream with the super chat. That's the $sign there. But the least you can do for now is you can just like the stream. So yeah, after you've done those searches, go ahead. What's the next?
Yeah, that entire time, what you are doing was confirming the sanctity of the property. Yeah. Now the next stage is every contract involving sale of land in Kenya, be it a house or vacant land,
Yeah.
has to be in writing.
Has to be?
In writing, signed by the party, and witnessed by an advocate. Because it's now at this stage where now you now get into the formal agreement for the sale and purchase of that property.
Yeah.
Now, standard practice is that the developer's lawyer, the seller's lawyers come up with the draft agreement, with the sale agreement, that is. Now, as I say, it's advisable. Of course, there are times when parties decide to use the same lawyer, but it's advisable that every party has their own advocate.
So the seller and the buyer, it's advisable that they have different lawyers.
Different lawyers to avoid instances of conflict of interest. And the conflict of interest would arise because you see, in every agreement, there is what is supposed to happen should one party default. So you can imagine we're in a situation where you are the same advocate who acted for both parties. Then in the event of a dispute between these two, between the seller and the buyer, whose interest will you protect?
Yeah.
If you acted for both parties. So it's advisable that every party has their own advocates. Because the agreement will reduce into a formal document. Now that ideally is where now lawyers will now start coming in strongly. Because in every agreement that is being drafted, you have to ensure that your client's interests are protected. So if you're acting for the sale, if you're acting for the buyer,
yeah,
the most important thing your client is ever going to lose is their money. So when you're drafting the agreement, you have to ensure that all clauses that are there ensure that your client's money is protected.
Okay.
And normally, what we normally do, we insist that when the money is paid, it's not paid to the seller directly.
Mm-hmm.
It's held in some account,
Mm-hmm.
and it will only be released to the seller upon successful transfer of the property to the buyer.
So which
Now, there are
account is
documents you need.
held?
Hmm?
Which is this account that
Hello?
you talk that the money is held?
Now, the money is normally held by the seller's advocates, but they hold it on what we call stakeholder basis,
Mm-hmm.
pending successful transfer of the property to the. Let me just get a charger for my phone. Just some moment.
It's okay.
Just a moment.
Yeah.
Pending transfer of the property to the just a moment to the purchaser. Hello?
Yes, yes, yes. You are
Hello?
talking about the money is held in.
Hello? Yeah, pending in the seller's advocate's account, not by the seller, the seller's advocate
Mm-hmm.
on stakeholder basis,
Mm-hmm.
which means he holds the money for the interest of both the parties.
Mm-hmm. Hello, you're frozen. Hello, what happened? Wow. Like the stream as you're coming in, I don't know what happened. I don't know. I hope it's not his phone that has gone off. But let me keep noting your questions. I'm hoping that he's coming back. And I'm noting your questions. I'll ask all these questions that you've asked. I'll ask all these questions as soon as we have him back. But I don't know. I don't know what you can do, but let me try and make a direct call. So just give me a second. Let me make a direct call so I can find out what's happening. Give me a second. If anyone, Akitunde, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm trying to get in touch. Hello, nini imefanyika? Oh, sawa, just click hiyo link yenye nilikuwa nimekupea. You come back on. All right, thank you. Well, he is coming back briefly. So I was saying, Akitunde Bauden, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm seeing all your questions. I'm noting your questions. I'll be able to ask. You know, we've been talking about moving or repatriating for those people who want to move, but nobody really. I've never come across a platform where somebody is giving you telling you how to go about it legally, because everybody else is always talking about the price of property and all that, but nobody really tells you these steps. So sometimes someone can move on property, and when you're getting a little too comfortable, you realize that there are some steps, or maybe your property is in land that is not legal, or you realize there's a lot of discrepancies. You didn't follow the step by step. So let's wait for our lawyer to come in and ask those questions. I'm really noting them, because trust me, you'll not get this information anywhere. Everybody is trying to sell. People will tell you can get property for $2,000, you can get property for $1,000, you can get property for, they'll tell you how cheap it is, but nobody tells you the legal way to go about it. Hello, yeah? Okay, let me resend the link. Let me just resend the link. I don't know why it's not working, but let me resend the link. Please be patient. Let me resend him the link. He's not able to access the site. So let's like the stream. Here we go. Paste. I hope we have him soon. He's coming back. But let me note your questions. I think I should start noting them. If anyone is in the process, is not up to date on the licenses at the time of purchasing and signing, does it make the entire deal void, or can the land be seized? They'll arrive and find I lease land is 10 years and owned by the government after better land things now. Yes, it's very important. Sometimes when you're buying, what I know is when you're buying property, you have to know how old is the lease, because you buy land and you find that it's already into the lease. Maybe it's 50 years old. So after 50 years old, after 50 years, you're told like you need to renew, and then you thought like it was 99, or you're buying a house. You really have to find out how many years is it. I don't know what's happening. Oh, it's not coming in. Let me just find out if the link is eventually working, but I'm noting your questions. If this really doesn't work, I'll do an interview with all these questions that you've asked, and then I'll come and ask him. Just keep liking the stream, support the stream. Hello, haifanyi bado? Oh, sawa. Okay, sawa. He's coming back in a few. He's coming back in a few. So let me note your questions. How did the Chinese get to buy those lands, and what titles they hold? I'm very sure the Chinese, the titles they have is on lease, not freehold. As you've heard, foreigners cannot own freehold property, so they have it on lease. They renew it after 99 years. A person who has legal residency, how do they pursue land without riffraff as leasehold? I'll ask him that, but I think he has partly answered it, but I'll ask him that. So if you are a foreigner, you can start a business and make all the shareholders Kenyan, and you can purchase land. Yeah, I think as a foreigner, you can still purchase land, only that it's not on freehold. You can still purchase land. How did the Indians, Chinese breeds get around this? Europeans have passed property 2 to 3 generations down the line. Lord Delamere, colonizer. Well, this is after the new constitution, which was promulgated, I think, in 2010. So the ones who passed on property way back, that was before the new constitution, when it wasn't quite hard for them to acquire property. Although I'll ask him, since they are foreigners, if at all those who owned. Hello? What's up? Nina ifanye, wifi ifanye. Okay, sawa, acha nikutumia. Okay. Sasa. Okay. Kindly be patient. He's coming on. Just need to sort something a little bit. Be patient. Sorry about that. He's coming back briefly in a few. So if you're a foreigner, you can start business. Hey, how did the Indians and Chinese breeds? Okay. Why not extend to the diaspora the same land titles you give to the Chinese? The Chinese have the land on lease. We need to stop giving money to put land in Kenyans' name and get residency and citizenship, buy it ourselves. I'm speaking of diaspora. I agree with you, Bosu. How are foreigners getting around these stipulations? Very informative. I watched about land selling. I didn't hear any legal before the purchase of the land. So you have to change the use. Keep them coming. This is great. Next time, do it early enough. Yeah, kindly like the stream, support the stream. You can support the stream. He'll be back in less than 2 minutes, so just be patient. Tigress, let's put the land in your name. I trust you. Pan-Africanism strikes back. That's fine. I'll transfer it back to you when you get your citizenship. Kenyan people are not marrying Chinese like that. Maybe Ugandan women. Yeah, I've not seen a lot of intermarriages between Kenyans and Chinese. The Chinese are already marrying Kenyan men and women so that they can, not as much. To be honest, no. Hello? So the internet haifanyi? Si ni Safaricom? Na wifi? Satafanya? Umejaribu kukliki hiyo link? No, okay, tumia simu. You can use audio only without video. Like when you're coming in, ukuja na audio peke without video. Okay, cool. Sorry, we're having internet issues. We are having internet issues, unfortunately. The Chinese are leasing the land for 99 years. All they need to do is get the foot in the door while we sit around being scary. Like he said, thank you so much. Pan-Africanism strikes back. Thank you so much for the super chat. So yes, as you said, the Chinese are getting the land on they're getting the land on lease. And he said, like, when it comes to the time to renew the lease, priority is given to the owner, the person who's on the land. So if you are on the land, you'll be given the first priority to renew the lease. If you're not able to, if you don't want to renew it, then that's when the government takes it back. So yeah, so it simply means it's just priorities on the person who's on the land. So even the Chinese, or even you as a foreigner, as you're owning the land, the priority is given to you. His internet is acting up. I really don't know how we can handle this. If it really doesn't work, let's just give it time, because he's telling me his internet is acting up. If it doesn't work, I'll definitely record all these questions, and then we'll do an interview pre-recorded, and then I can premiere it on later. But for now, let's just wait and see. Let me see if he's able to come on in. We redo this tomorrow if it doesn't work. That's sad. I was really so excited about this because I also don't know everything, so I was also learning this. Let me just find out if the internet. You can lease land. You can get the leasehold land and pass it to your own children so as to make a child or twin. Oh, yeah, actually that works. Yeah, that works actually, Andy. You'll be excommunicated into. How can I marry a Chinese usually? You're calling. How many African Americans do you No, that have backing of the government like the Chinese or will come together to get a building. That's for question for Pan-Africanist. Most former British colonies have 99-year lease. The British stole the land and signed 99 years during the colonialism. They changed to 99 years after independence. Wow, it's taking too long. It's taking too long to come back. What's up? What do you suggest we do now that it's taking too long? Oh, another super chat. Thank you so much. Pan-Africanism strikes back. Of course, we don't see the marriages. If you go to Nairobi, you'll barely see Chinese people, but they are in the outskirts marrying and living. That's not true. Pan-Africanism strikes back. There are not as many as you're trying to put it. They are not as many as you're trying to put it. Let's just be patient. He says he's coming back. But you can just keep asking those questions. Invite, copy. Kenyan land policy is one of the best in East Africa. Even foreigners are just subjected to the same policies as natives. The only problem in Kenya is the price. Land is very expensive. Yes, you're right. Wow. I don't think this is going to work. Unfortunately, his internet is really bad. Unless we change the timing and do it later on in the morning because it's night here. It's not working. It can't even take a simple WhatsApp call. Who are these Chinese? Hello? Hata hiyo WhatsApp ukipiga haingii. Inaeka connecting. Connecting inamaanisha internet iko chini sana. Sasa mi sijui unless tufanye sasa ya time yenye unatumia ni ya ofisi labda. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Sasa hiyo ndio shida. Hiyo ndio shida. Aha. 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 Mhm. 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 Aha. Kwani wewe unaga hata point yenye kwa nyumba kwenye internet inashika vizuri? Haiwezi nini, si ni mobile data yako, haiwezi kuwa inasumbua hivyo. Hiyo tu inamaanisha nyumba yako ndio iko na shida ya net. Yeah. Aha. But unajua sijui kama nikikuweka loudspeaker cause naona mtu anasuggest hivyo. Nikuweke loudspeaker saa hizi watu wasikie tu juu sijui what we can do sasa. Si saa hizi. Hebu acha nikupigie kwa WhatsApp nione kama itaingia kwa loudspeaker. Ah. Sorry, we're trying to sort it. I'm trying another option. Let me see if this works. So you'll only hear him from my end. Someone suggested this. I hope you can hear. Oh, okay. This is also not working, and direct call will be kind of expensive, but let me see how far we go. So just put this is now I'm using my airtime. So let me just buy some airtime so you can have him on buy airtime. So you can have him on direct. So he'll be, I think if I buy for this amount, okay. Okay, so this is it. He'll be on loudspeaker, so you'll get to hear him. I hope you can hear that.
Hello, Mercy.
Hello, unasikia uko loud?
kupigia.
Mi network yako ndio mbaya, uko loudspeaker sasa.
Okay.
So let me just confirm with them if they can hear you. Can you hear that? His internet is the one that has a problem, not mine. I want to see if you can hear that because I've put him on loudspeaker. So Willie, you reached at a point where you said that you had talked about
the holding of the money on stakeholder basis.
Yeah, and signing the document, and people need to have like different
different lawyers. It's advisable to have different lawyers. Yeah. So
okay.
Of course we will provide for in the agreement. Of course, there are now the details of the agreement that those ones will handle, but we'll provide for the transaction to be completed within a period of say 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
Now, during the 90 days, the buyer's obligation is only to pay the purchase price. Yeah.
Okay.
But now there are documents because a sale agreement is not registrable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an instrument of transfer. There are documents that now the seller will give the buyer on what we call on completion date.
Mm-hmm.
Preferably, normally we provide for 90 days, but parties can complete within a shorter period, depending on the availability of funds from the purchaser, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the documents that the seller will have to give the buyer is the original title and a transfer signed by the seller. Because of the transfer where the seller will now be acknowledging that. But remember, the funds are still to seller because the transfer in favor of the purchaser has not been done successfully.
Yeah.
So the two most important documents that they'll have to give you is the title, the original title.
Yeah.
The transfer. And of course, there are those like when you pay land rent, you need the rent clearance receipt, the consent to transfer.
Yeah.
If the seller is an individual, say a man or a woman, then they'll have to get what we call spousal consent to transfer. It's a requirement under Kenyan law.
Oh, so if it's a couple that is selling the land to you, so there has to be agreements that both the man and the woman have accepted to sell the land to you.
Now if the property is owned by a couple, then all they will have to do is to swear an affidavit saying the property is registered in their joint names, and therefore they do not need the consent of any other spouse to transfer the property. But if it's the man, say for example the man selling to you, then he'll have to get the consent of the wife.
Okay.
And vice versa. And vice versa. So those are the documents you need. Once because the transfer has to be registered at the land office, the relevant registry, and the title now transferred to the purchaser.
Okay.
Now remember, as we speak, the money is still being held on stakeholder basis. Now there's something I need to clarify on stakeholding. Like you can only allow, seeing that there are reputable law firms. Hello?
Yes.
That you can trust to hold the money until the transaction is done. But then there are also those one-man shops.
Yeah.
That you can't trust to hold the money until the transaction is done. Because what normally happens, some of these lawyers, that you pay the money to the account to hold the stakeholder basis. Then along the way, you realize that they've released the money to the seller without the transfer having been completed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So under those circumstances, what we normally insist is that the buyer's advocate and the seller's advocate open a joint account in the names of the two law firms. Yeah. So that as much as the money is held on stakeholder basis, the seller's advocates and even the buyer's advocates has control over how the funds are released. Because you have to sign off when the funds are to be released. And the funds can only be released when the transfer is done successfully. So once the transfer is done at the land's office, remember there are those costs that the buyer will pay, like payment of stamp duty, payment of the transfer fees. The seller will only have to pay capital gain tax if he's making a gain from the sale of the property. That is over and above what they bought it for.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's only once the transfer is successfully done, it's only once that's done that the buyer's advocates will now confirm to the seller's advocates that you can now proceed to release the funds to your client. And we insist on stakeholding because of two major reasons. Because in the agreement, there will be that provision that should the seller fail to complete the transaction, either by giving all these documents, remember the title, the transfer, the consent from the wife, and everything, then they are supposed to refund all the money paid to them by the purchaser.
Okay.
So you can imagine a situation where the purchaser had released the money to the buyer already, the purchaser had released the money to the seller already, and he refuses to complete the transaction. Then you see you can't now get your money easy. You have to go to court and sue for it like a debt. And you understand that can take a long time.
Yeah.
So that's why we insist on the money being held on stakeholder, so that should the transaction not proceed,
then the
money is just released back to the purchaser. It's ideally to protect the purchaser from losing his money, his or her money or cash. And also to ensure that the seller actually goes ahead to complete the transaction.
Okay.
Yeah, so once the transfer is registered, it's only then that the money can now be released to the seller.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So upon the transfer being registered, now the title will now pass to the buyer. It's only a transfer that can pass title to the buyer. Remember, we started with the agreement.
Yes.
Which is just executory, it's not registrable. It's the transfer that is registered against that title. So now the property now moves to the purchaser.
Okay.
Now, up to that point, the purchaser already has ownership of that property. So, okay, I don't want to go to give a lot of information at once. So if anyone has questions, then maybe they could ask. We'll respond to them now.
Okay, cool.
Then you can pick up on other aspects, maybe either tomorrow at another time that's convenient for them. But preferably much earlier. If it's in the night, preferably much earlier. Because I've realized that the problem with the internet normally
starts at night. Okay, so I'll ask questions. The first question is, you've listed all those steps. So if somebody is in the diaspora, and they want to buy property, of course, after the first thing is getting an agent, you said, who's selling the property, right? Hello?
Yeah, you say, of course, after?
The first thing is identifying the property that you want to buy, right?
Definitely.
So after you identify the property, that is an agent. Mostly it's from an agent that you get an agent who's selling property, right?
Yeah, normally it's from an agent. That's if you're not well versed with the seller.
Yes.
But if the seller is somebody known to you, then you don't really have to use an agent.
To use an agent, if you know the seller, you don't need to use an agent.
Yeah, you don't need to use the seller. Assuming I was selling property to you. You would need an agent because you know me already, so you can just engage on a one-on-one basis. But if you're using most people in the diaspora, they locate property
through agents.
through agents, and mostly they are building houses being constructed off plan.
Okay.
So it's advisable that they use agents. But if they have a direct contact with the seller, it's not a mandatory requirement that you use an agent. Yeah.
So after the people you'll need is an agent, then you'll need a lawyer.
Yes.
Then you'll need a surveyor.
You need a surveyor. Of course, the lawyer will connect you to the surveyor, because what we normally do, because you also don't want to work with surveyors that are not known to us. You know, it's like a, how do I call it? It's like a symbiotic relationship. Yeah, we have specific surveyors that we refer clients to. People we can guarantee their work, people we can actually trust, people we worked with before. Because it's also common to find a surveyors who will mislead you. Okay. Probably collude with the seller if they knew they want to fleece you or dupe you. Collude with the sellers, confirm to that the property is okay. But we prefer using surveyors that are known to us. So apart from the agent, the lawyer is actually going to introduce you to the other professionals that are to be involved in the process. Okay. Because no lawyer wants to use someone that they have not dealt with before. So in short, there are three people. It's agent, lawyer, surveyor, and the surveyor you get from the lawyer. What is the legal fee, averagely? What is the legal fee in this process for someone who's going to take you through all this until the land becomes yours? What does it cost the legal fee? Now, the legal fee, there's a way it's calculated by the advocate's remuneration order. The legal fee will depend on the value of the property. Okay. What percentage of the value of the property? Of the purchase price. Now, initially it used to be 2%, but then there was a change in the remuneration order. There's a way it's calculated, but just work with 2%. 2% of the cost of property. That is the cost of the lawyer. Yeah, of the purchase price. Now that's just the legal fees. But like I explained to you, remember there are those statutory costs that the purchaser will have to make, like payment of stamp duty, which is a tax, stamp duty on the transfer. Now that one for us to advise on, because there will be a valuation of the property done before stamp duty is paid. Because we could agree with you that I'm selling the property to you at 10 million. Yeah. Then see, probably I've just given you a good deal, but when a valuation is done on the property, it comes out that the property is valued at more than 10 million. So you'll pay stamp duty at a percentage of the value that will be given by the government value. Now, for freehold land, there's normally 2% of that value given. For leasehold land, is 4%, and land within a municipality, it's 4% of the value given. Okay. So there's that stamp duty. The cost that the purchaser will incur is the cost of stamp duty, the registration cost, which will include cost of valuation and everything. Yeah, which will ideally those are the main costs that the purchaser will incur. Of course, the cost of the surveyor. Cost of the surveyor, and even the cost of the surveyor sometimes. Sometimes you can dispense with the issue of the surveyor, because use an example where there are apartments that have been constructed, where your client is not the first purchaser. Yeah, there are like 300 people living there. Then under those circumstances, you won't doubt that the land actually is where it. So you'll not need a surveyor if you're buying a house that is already constructed. That is when you're buying land. That's when you need the surveyor, right? Exactly. Okay. So like the surveyor, the agent, they are not mandatory expenses. There are only instances when we'll advise you that for this one, it's proper that we do. Proper that we find this out. Yeah. Okay. Even the one for Warma, you see, the one for Warma, there are those properties that are so obvious. It's so obvious that it's near a water body. Yeah. That you don't even need to go. Seek Warma's confirmation. You can just see it. Yeah, you can see there's a water body or there's not a water body. Okay. Exactly. When you said foreigners cannot own freehold property, so you said even if it's a company. So if we had a company and initially 100% of the shares were all Kenyans, and then with time we add a foreigner into the company.
would it change automatically to lease?
Exactly. Now, those are the instances where that provision of law that I was mentioning to you came.
Yeah.
But there are instances where it may happen either by mistake or by or collusion or something, that people buy land as natives, as Kenyans, in this case. Then along the way they bring in a foreigner. Now that provision was meant to handle such situations. Because the constitution is clear that a company is only considered Kenyan if the shareholding is 100%
Kenyan. So once a foreigner comes in, it stops being
a Kenyan company. Because a foreigner can be there as a director, but you see directors don't really they're not really owners of the company unless it's a director shareholder. Yeah, so a foreigner can be there as a director, which is fine. Property will still be, the company will still be considered a Kenyan company. But the moment the foreigner owns even a single share, then the company has lost its Kenyan nature. It's no longer considered a Kenyan company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question, do foreigners have property rights in Kenya or would it be nationalized?
Property rights as in?
I'm trying to understand the question. I think this person is trying to ask if foreigners and Kenyans have the same rights in property, which I think is the same.
Yeah. Same for freehold land.
Yeah?
Same for freehold land, which foreigners cannot own. When it comes to the other, like the leasehold property, everybody is protected similarly under Kenyan law. That's why you can see Chinese people and Turkish people developing property in Kenya.
Oh, okay.
Their rights are protected.
So their rights are protected even if they are foreigners. And lease land, you mean the land on lease, what Kenyans are subjected to is what foreigners will be subjected to when the land is on lease.
Similar.
Okay.
Similar.
You mean there can never be a chance at all that land is on lease turns back to be on freehold, or once it's gone on lease, it's forever on lease?
No, once it's gone on leasehold, it's gone on leasehold.
It will never turn back?
No, it can never. There is a possibility of it moving from freehold to leasehold, but not the other way around. And like the circumstances I explained to you, if you're changing the user or something, you want to maybe you want an how do you call it? You want to change the use of the property. Like I don't. If you're well versed with the Ruiru area, where companies are coming up, I know that your guests may not have the benefit of knowing the area.
Yeah, that's like the outskirts of Nairobi. Yeah.
The outskirts of Nairobi.
Yeah.
Where initially it was freehold property.
Yeah.
But now, because ideally it was meant to be for agricultural use.
Yeah.
But now people are constructing industries.
Yeah, and companies.
Yeah, in that area, and using for industrial use or commercial use. Yeah. Now you can't use property that is designated as agricultural for industrial use without changing the use for that property. And for you to change the use, you will get a new title with the new land range and with the new land reference number and everything. So the moment you move it from agricultural to industrial, because agricultural was freehold, it automatically reverts to a leasehold term for 99 years. Yeah. Okay. And the idea behind that was that, see, when people are using land for agricultural purposes, the freehold land, it was taken that you own it, and most of the people use the properties either for farming or for their rural homes. Yeah. So the government did not really want to get involved in controlling how you use the land and everything. Yeah. But the reason why they now give you leasehold title when you now want to use it for industrial purposes or whatever, or commercial purposes, is because the government wants to be in control of how you use that property. Oh, okay. There are rules on how you're going to use it, whatever you're going to construct. Because remember, the government even gives you approvals that you can only construct 30 houses here. You can only do 2 floors. You can't do more than 2 floors. Yeah, so that's why when you change it from agriculture to another use. The government wants to be in control of what you do on that property.
Oh, so the land is only freehold if you're using it for agricultural purposes.
Yeah, most freehold land is just either agricultural
or residential, like just you staying, not renting.
Yeah, just your home.
Your home.
Cannot come and start controlling how you live in your home.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, I can see people asking about if they want to see property. He's a lawyer. Next time I'll bring somebody on property who would be able probably to show you property. And there are, before the promulgation of the new constitution, there are some foreigners, generations of British people, the former colonizers who are passing land to their children, and that as it got to when the land, after the promulgation of the new constitution, did the land change from being freehold to on lease?
Now that's one of the loopholes that the constitution left. Because see, it says that a foreigner cannot own freehold land in Kenya, yeah?
Yeah.
And if any foreigner owned freehold land in Kenya prior to the date of promulgation, then from that date, that piece of land automatically reverted to a 99-year-old lease. Yeah?
Pardon?
Yeah, it automatically reverted to a 99-year-old lease. But now the problem is they have not processed the titles for these leasehold terms. This is the date of promulgation. So you'll find that these foreigners, the titles they have
are freehold.
The titles they hold are freehold, but the interest they hold, because there's the title and then there's the interest you own in land. The interest they hold is deemed to be 99-year-old lease. So there's that confusion because someone has a freehold title. You've not processed a 99-year-old title for them, a 9-year-old lease for them, but you're telling them that the only thing they can pass is a 99. They can hold is a 99-year-old lease. So that's one of the areas that we also have to admit that there was a loophole. There's a vacuum that was left by the constitution.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's only applicable to people who own those lands prior to the promulgation. But after the promulgation, they can't now own freehold land. Yeah.
Okay. Also, let me say somebody is in Kenya, probably somebody is in a resident permit, then marries a Kenyan citizen. Does that person automatically become a Kenyan citizen?
By registration. Now that's where the 7 years come in.
So they become by registration and they'll only become full citizens after 7 years.
Yes.
But okay, so if they buy property, if they have children, their children are Kenyan, right?
Yes, the children are Kenyan. They are Kenyans by birth.
So can they buy property in their children's name?
Yeah, nothing stops you from. But you see now, if you buy in your children's name, the transfer is done to your children. So
yes, so the land is owned by your children and it's freehold.
Yeah.
Because their children are Kenyan.
Yeah, they are Kenyans.
Okay.
They are Kenyans.
Let me see any other question. If you have questions, keep them. I'm still scrolling on the older questions that I had not asked. Please ask him what type of titles he's seen foreigners get in Kenya when they buy land.
Types of titles?
Yeah.
Now, see, now that we'll have to go into a deep discussion. I may have to scan some documents for them. Because there are different regimes of titles in Kenya. You want to call the government land. Now, if I start going into those details, I may confuse them. What I suggest I could do, you can have an email thread, where I can scan the copies of those titles and explain to them this is under this regime of law, this is under this regime. Because there's what we call RTA, GLA, RLA, but now you see, if I start going to those ones, I may confuse them further without having something in writing. So I could do a write-up for them and explain to them the regimes of titles and the kind of titles under all those regimes. Yeah.
I can see somebody here, Web Dev Mark. Stop misleading people. We are not going to shortcuts here. We are not talking about you. We are not advocating people taking shortcuts and then later on getting their land taken and issues like that. don't advise people. Just don't listen to that person who's commenting WebDev Mark who's saying the wife sells land in Kenya, because you see that's somebody who's interested in selling property. So WebDev Mark, no, there's somebody who's commenting and is telling people, he's telling people do not buy land on lease and all that. We own land outright. No, don't listen to someone who's telling you something else, because he's advising people. I don't know. He's probably just trying to market the wife who's selling land. So let's.
Okay, you see, what I don't want to do. For me, I'm giving legal advice.
Yeah, you are giving legal advice. Not, you are not a property seller. You're not an agent.
I don't sell property.
Yes.
I am a lawyer. I don't sell property. I'm giving legal advice.
As
to negotiations and property sellers, I don't sell property anywhere.
Yeah, so this is legal advice, which is very important. If you go the property way, that's your problem. But it's always good to know the legal way before you go to the property, before you go to buying the property. So get to know the laws.
Because a property seller,
yeah,
like the name suggests, they want to make sales.
Yeah.
So when they're doing something that is not legal, for them, as long as they make their sales, they don't care. So they can't pretend to be giving advice on property sales, because I'm not a property marketer or a seller. I'm only giving legal advice and what they need to do before they buy property. As to how they agree with the property sellers, that is something totally different. That's between them and the property seller. I'm not a property seller. I'm only giving legal advice.
Okay, someone is asking, how do you verify that a lawyer is legal in Kenya?
How do you verify a lawyer is legal in Kenya?
Yes.
Well, you have the lawyer's number.
Raise your voice. I think I can.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, you can have the law. There's the Law Society of Kenya website.
Yeah.
You just there's a number that is unique to every lawyer. You just go and key in that number. And you do a key in the name and the number, because every lawyer in Kenya has a unique number, admission number. So you just go search on the LSK website and everything will come. It will tell you the lawyer's place of work, whether he's active, whether he's been struck off, whether the advocate is facing disciplinary issues, whether the advocate has paid for his practice certificate, whether he holds a practice certificate. So that's easy. Just go and key it and you'll find all the information.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, he's saying that you need to go to the Law Society of Kenya website. The lawyer would give you a number and a special number and name, so you can actually do the search. Bosu Ghost, I didn't see the question. Kindly, I missed the question because I think it was not full. So if you could ask the question again. And Andy Garci, thank you so much for the super chat. Lincoln Webb, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm still trying to scroll and see the questions. Your camera is good. Okay. The African to verify a lawyer society. Yeah, if you have question, if I missed your question, kindly ask again. I'm sorry I missed your question. You can ask it again. My question earlier about checking the green card. I don't know what. Is there a green card or something? I don't know what he means.
Yeah. For specific properties. Now that's why I was telling you about what we call the Registered Land Act, what RLA.
Okay.
The properties registered under that regime won't have what we call the green card.
Oh, so there are some properties that are registered under the green card.
Yes. Now those are the ones called, those are the title deeds and certificates of lease. The title deeds. If you ever see title, that's a title deed. There's what we'll see a certificate of title. There's one you see called certificate of lease. There's what we call the conveyances under GLA. So they are separate. They are varied. Yeah. The one asking about the green card is the one registered under the Registered Land Act. And now most of them are the ones that you'll find are freehold properties. Now the green card will ideally give you the history of the land, how it could have moved from one person to the other. It will show you all the previous owners. Now that's what we call the green card. And for you to do the search, the green card has to be assessed at the land office. But the green card is kept at the registry. They don't give you the green card. They don't give the owner the green card because it's all the historical transactions involving the land, so it's kept by the lands registry.
During what regime did we have the green card?
During the?
You're saying it was during a certain regime that we had the green card?
No, it's registered under what we call the Registered Land Act. They are still there to date. The green cards are still there. They are still there to date.
So he's asking, during the process, do you check the green card?
Yeah, now that's part of the search. You can't do the search without the green card. You know, the green card is kept at the lands office, and the people who are going, the only people who can ascertain the veracity of a search is the lands registry. And that's why you have to do the search at the lands registry, so that if it so happens that they gave you a wrong result, say for example they indicated that the seller was the owner of the property, then it later turns out to be that was not correct, then you are actually entitled to compensation from the government. So that's why you have to do the formal search at the lands office, because the results are guaranteed by the government.
So do you do it on your own, or do you do it on your own, or you need a lawyer to do that for you, the search and all that?
Well, a lawyer ideally is going to handle most of the process here. The lawyer will do the search for you. The lawyer is in a better position to interpret the results of the search for you. People make mistakes of going to these lands registries and going to do their own searches, when probably they're not even dealing with a registrar. Somebody gives you a fake search. So it's proper to deal with the lawyers, because we know we have clerks, we know who handle this, the registrars and everybody.
And keep your questions coming. If I skip your question, you can ask it again. Please ask him, what type of leases do the Chinese get in Kenya?
The Chinese?
Yeah.
They get the 99-year-old leases.
The 99-year-old.
Yeah. But you see, maybe by the time you're buying it from someone, maybe someone was given a 99-year-old lease from 1970. So you see that the term that you'll be buying is less those number of years. But you retain the right to renew it. Like I said, anybody holding a lease has the first right of refusal in extension of that lease. Such that the government is actually under an obligation to inform you. If the moment they realize that it's only 5 years remaining on the term, they are under an obligation to inform you to commence the process of renewing the lease.
How do they inform you?
Through the National Land Commission.
So how do they send somebody to the property?
Yeah, no, he just checks a form. You know the government has registers of all the owners of the property.
Yeah.
And your address and everything. Yeah. So they just write and inform you. Or they just publish a gazette notice. So you have to keep checking. But I doubt anybody, the way land is emotive in Kenya and ownership of land, I doubt anybody would be so reluctant, would be so careless to wait until the term lapses without commencing the process of renewal or extension. Yeah. But the government is under obligation to inform you 5 years prior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you like the stream, PO Box and Gazette Notice? Yes. Can you like the stream as you're coming in? Support the stream. You can use that super chat right there. That's the $sign there. So do that. Support us as we answer your questions. What about when buying a house? Now that I see land is a long process. So if I want to buy a house.
Hello?
Yes.
And I started by explaining this. Land.
Yeah.
Land in Kenya, it doesn't mean land, vacant land, Even a house is considered land. It's only that the difference now is one is developed, one is bare. But all are handled under the regime of land. They are considered land.
Yeah. That's
why even if you're taking a mortgage, you say you charge your land to the bank. You won't say you charge your house to the bank. Yeah, but it's only that now it will say this land reference number together with the developments on it. The development now being the house. Yeah. It's the same process. You do the search, because even a house has a title.
Yeah.
Yeah, your house has a title. You do the search. It's the same process. Get into the agreement, get the original titles, get the transfers done in your favor.
Sometimes you find that in property, the land that the house that you're buying, it was on lease. How do you get to know how many years is it into the lease? Because you can find maybe they started counting it like 10 years ago or 15 years ago. So how do you ensure?
Now that's what I'm saying. On the title document, I said the first thing you need to ask for before, because if you need to do the search, you need a copy of the title.
Yeah.
Now the title document will describe the number of years remaining on the lease, and like I explained when you asked about the Chinese, when they buy the leases,
yeah,
then they'll come and buy from some Kenyan. They won't come and get a title from the government.
Yeah.
Yes, they'll come and buy from some Kenyan. Now, this Kenyan was given 99, at least full time for 99 years, but maybe the title was given to them in 1970. So from 1970 to date, how many years ago? Let's say 40.
Almost 50.
Almost 50 years. Almost 50 years have elapsed since 1970. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Chinese cannot get 99 years. Because the title indicates 99 years, but in 99 years from 1970. So what they are getting is a 49 as a term of 49 years. Because that's what they are buying, the residue. That's what remains on the terms of the lease.
Yeah.
But nothing stops them from buying. When the leasehold term has only a remainder of 5 years, like I've explained, the government is under obligation to inform them to start the process of renewal and extension of renewal or extension. If the term lapses, you renew. If you start the process with 5 years remaining, then you will be doing an extension because there's still some term on the lease. So you will do an extension. So you are protected. You are protected whether foreigner or not. You are protected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, kindly like the stream as you're coming in. Like the stream as you're coming in. What is your email contact for those who would want to reach out to you?
Now, I think I shared that with you.
Yeah. So
it's that one.
Okay, I'll put it in the description. I'll put it in the description once the video is over. I'm going to put his email in the description. I don't know if anybody else has an answer, but I feel that we need to redo this. William will need to redo this once your internet is good.
No, I have no problem. I have absolutely no problem with that.
Sure. So do you think we need to redo this? Should we redo this? Let me see in the comments if we need to actually redo this sometime when his internet is good and have all your questions answered, because I know some people kind of got impatient when the internet was not working.
What you could do.
I'll just do it tomorrow. I think I'll just notify them. Probably some of them might be asleep, unfortunately. I don't know. We'll just plan and see what we can do, or plan on a day when we can really redo this so that people actually get to see you, get to understand what exactly you're talking about, because I think you've shared a lot of information that might need processing.
Exactly. That was my point exactly.
Yeah.
What you could do in the meantime is that you can collect the questions.
Yeah.
From all, because I know that people with questions that they need answered. You can maybe have the questions you can maybe have the questions ready. So that by the time we are coming to redo it, we just go straight to responding to each and everybody's queries. I think that would be faster.
Sure. Let me know if you're still on the stream. Let me know. Just type yes. Okay. See yes. Okay. Yes. We'll have to redo this stream again. And any other? Okay. What's the average length of amortization of houses mortgages in Kenya? That is, what's the average length of mortgages, I think, of houses in Kenya?
Okay, I don't quite get the question.
I think he's asking average mortgage, and I think that one, it depends with the seller. Like how long people, like when you're buying a house or mortgage or something, how long it takes to pay.
To pay who?
The house.
The bank or the bank
the house or the bank or whatever you're buying. To pay for the house. Doesn't that depend on the seller?
No. Or when you're being financed.
Yes.
And when you're being financed, definitely the bank will take that property as a security as well.
Yeah.
So what normally happens in those situations that you see the bank cannot pay without its security having been registered, the charge or the mortgage. So what will happen is that they give, because we'll provide for the 90-day normal period. But now in a cash transaction on the 90th day, or before the 90th day, the purchaser will pay the balance. But where it's financed, on the 90th day, the bank that is financing the purchase will give what we call an undertaking to the address to the seller. That we will pay you within 14 days of registration of our charge. Now, normally from the 90th day, we provide for a 30-period registration, a 30-day registration period for the bank to have its charge registered. Then after it's registered, then they have to pay within 14 days. So unlike a cash transaction where we have the 90 days, where it's financed, we're looking at a period of 90 days, then add another averagely 45 days. Yeah. It will be 135 days on
average. Someone is saying some Chinese have bought their family homes in Athi River, Great Wall Gardens. I wonder how they bought the land. If you go to Signature Mall or the malls at that area, you'll see many Chinese.
Yeah, Great Wall. Now, Athi River, actually, they have not even bought their houses. The many Chinese around Athi River are actually doing developments. They're the ones constructing houses there, most of them. Yeah, but you see, those are leasehold properties. What they do is they buy the land, they subdivide, and bring up either maisonette or apartments. Yeah, nothing stops them from buying. They're freehold, they're leasehold titles. But the Chinese along at the river, Syokimau, and that area, they are the ones. They're actually the developers. They're the ones building and selling. Yeah.
Okay.
Even in areas around, how do you call it, Hong Road and all those areas.
Okay, now let me ask you a totally different question. I don't know if you have an answer to this. How much do someone need to invest in is there another way of becoming a citizen of the country by just investing without necessarily having to wait for 7 years?
Just by investing?
Yeah.
No, that's not recognized.
Oh, you cannot?
You cannot. You can. I mean, if every investor was to become a citizen.
No, you see, there are some countries that have a certain amount of money when you put in the economy and create employment, you're given citizenship.
No, in Kenya it's not. There's no provision for that. You must have lived in Kenya for some period.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think
and lived continuously.
Continuously means what? You should not even visit other places for a week or two.
You can, but you should at least have had a specific abode in Kenya. You've been here. You've been like the Chinese who will be trading in Kenya. I think those of us will get the citizenship. The citizenship. Yeah, but at just investing in Kenya.
Yeah.
In that case, every investor will become a citizen because there are many investors who just pump in money, but have never even stepped into Kenya. Would only come to check on their investment. Yeah, everyone can become citizens.
Okay.
Yeah, if it was so, it would be so easy for a drug dealer to become a Kenyan citizen.
Oh, because they have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. William, I don't think we have any questions for now. I think we will have to redo this.
Yeah, no problem. And sorry for the connection, guys. We will do this. Just have the questions ready, then we can respond.
Yeah, so we will redo this. Maybe we can do this. What time do you come from work tomorrow?
Now, the problem is the different time zones.
No, it's okay. Like, I mean, right now it's evening their time. I mean, right now it's like 4, but I mean, we can do it probably even morning hours their time. That's about 5, 6 Kenyan time. 5, 6 p.m. Kenyan time. That would be like their morning when they'll be waking up. Right now, because I know it's evening their time.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much for your time, William. Let's do this tomorrow again. If not tomorrow, um, tomorrow I'm
Yeah,
not.
we just agree on a day. There's no
Uh-huh.
problem.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, that's
Well, all right. Thank you, William.
okay, guys. Have a good night, Sumasi. The other good evening. Oh, it's morning already. Okay,
It's morning already, so
okay,
okay.
morning already.
All
Okay.
right. Okay, thank
Oh,
you.
okay. Bye.
Bye. All right. Well, thank you so much for staying tuned to this despite the different challenges that you've had. We'll do this tomorrow. I hope. Let me know. Should we do it tomorrow, or should I give you time to process this information? We do it after 2 or 3 days because we can still do it later. And tomorrow we have a different guest on a different topic. Where my wife works, they only sell land to citizens, 99 years leases to non-citizens. I get you, web dev, Mark. Should we do this tomorrow, or let me know? Andy, those who are still on the stream, let me know if we should do this tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Or can you guys just do a quick summary? Then you can add questions. Okay. In summary, he said, from what I got, uh, when you want to buy land, the first thing is you identify the property. Once you've identified the property, the next thing you need to do is a search. And when you're doing a search, it is also good if you can involve a lawyer who would help you with a number of going to the land commissions and all that. Then you do survey. Actually, the lawyer is the one who will connect you to a surveyor, where they'll check if the land is really exists, because some land have titles, but you find like maybe there's two people owning the same title, or the land does not exist but a title is there. And they also check if the location is close to water bodies, because it's illegal to construct 10 meters to the water body. And then you confirm the land tenure. That is, you confirm if the land is on freehold or on lease. If you're a foreigner, you cannot own freehold land, but if you're a citizen, you can. And even if you own it as a company, you can only earn it. A company can only own freehold. I think you can only own freehold if 100% of the shares are for Kenyan citizens. Even if 1% of the share is a foreigner, it changes from freehold to land on lease. Land on lease is 99 years lease, and if when that time comes to renew, the owner, the person who's sitting on that land at that point, is given priority. If you, for 5 years to the renewal period, the government will notify you, so you are allowed to renew. Unless you don't want to renew it, that's when the government takes over, but you're given priority, so it's protected. Like, the government cannot just take it from you like that. Yes, you also need to check if the land is on a road reserve. And then the next thing is you need to do an agreement in writing, yeah, assigned with witnesses. And witnesses, it's during that time it's good to have lawyers. So the buyer and the seller, it's very good to have different lawyers. Don't use the same lawyer. Buyer, seller, different lawyer, where you'll have the formal agreement. And yeah, I think basically that's much he talked about. How much does land close to how much is a land? 10 meters. Is it said 10 meters to the water body? It's also for your safety, because when the waters during rainy seasons like now, when the waters rise, the water will get into your land, which or into your house, or it might even cause landslides and stuff like that. Weekend would be nice if possible. Thank you for being peace. It should be interesting to buy land near the Chinese. They look at you as if you don't belong. Can you just do a quick summary? Okay, so I think we'll do this tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I think close over the weekend. We'll plan maybe, or tomorrow. I'll keep you posted. Just check my community post and let you know when I'll do this again. I hope you learned something, and see you then. Kwaheri, and I appreciate your presence.